Hello and welcome to week 4 of February with our Heart Month, and Beecher is here to say welcome to our final class of the Delving into Dharma for now. So gather your props if you have a bolster or a cushion, a couple of blocks, and maybe a strap. I can't remember. And also a blanket, because we're going to roll up a blanket like we did last week. So gather all that and then take a seat, and we are going to get started. Let's go ahead and get started with some centering with our breath, beginning with Ujjayi breath on both inhale and exhale, breathing into the belly. And then bringing your palms to the side of your head without touching fingers together. Begin to gather the energy of the thoughts. And perhaps you'll even feel a little tingling in your hands if you're sensitive to that energy of the goings-on of the brain. Beginning to center and focus those thoughts. Drawing in, containing. And then taking one more inhale, and as you exhale, slowly bringing the hands together in front of your face. And taking another inhale and using the exhale to slowly draw down to the heart center. Focusing the thoughts to one point and then drawing into the heart. Let's do 2 more like that. Hands just outside, palms slightly cupped of the head, gathering, feeling that electricity in your hands, that energy in your hands, that tingle. And then taking one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to draw the hands to center in front of your face, focusing and gathering those thoughts. Taking another inhale and use your exhale to draw those thoughts, that focus into the heart. Let's do one more round just like that. Hands just outside the side of the head. Gathering that energy of the thoughts and the scattering of the mind. Containing it. And taking another inhale here, nice and slow with your Ujjayi. And then as you exhale, gather the thoughts to center. Take another inhale as your palms touch here. And then use your exhale to draw down into the heart center. Beautiful. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, release your hands to your thighs. Let the chin drop, humbling to the heart. And then let your eyes flutter open and come back to this space. Welcome, and let's go ahead and get started. Grab your blanket. We're going to start the same as we have the last couple of weeks with a rolled up blanket for a passive heart opening, either Shavasana or supported fish, whatever you want to call it. So that rolled blanket is going to be at the center of your spine so that your head can drop back onto the mat. So you don't want it too high so that your neck is really cranked. You just want it a gentle curve so that there's an opening, passively gentle opening of the heart center. And you can either keep your knees bent with the soles of the feet on the mat or go ahead and lengthen the legs straight down onto your mat. Arms can come straight out from your shoulders, or you may reach overhead towards the wall behind you. Again, like last week, your choice. You can also bend the elbows and grab opposite elbows with the forearms overhead. Take whichever position feels best for your body today, regardless of what you did last week. I've been finding with these back bend practices that I'm feeling more and more open, and each day is a little bit different. So breathe deep into the belly center, into the heart center. And rather than grasping for the air on your inhale, allow the breath to pour in. Contain the front ribs as you release your arms overhead, regardless of which position you were in, and reach your heels towards the opposite wall with legs together. So we're actively creating length in the spine and creating length in the front body here. Take one more breath, and then as you exhale, bring your hands back to your body and bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat, and just pause here. And then let your knees open into Supta Baddha Konasana. And your arms can be straight out from your shoulders, or you can have them like 45 degrees away from your body. Again, whatever works for your body today. And now really bring the breath all the way down into the pelvis and all the way into the groins. And let the air spill in. Allow it to be received by your lungs. And breathing into the belly with each inhale. And allowing it to travel down the legs with each exhale. You can place blocks under your knees if you need to. You can place your hands on your belly for a tactile sense of the breath here. One more breath. And then gently draw your knees up. Soles of the feet still on the mat. And then making your way into fetal position. And then pressing up to a seat. You can remove your blanket, your prop off of your mat. And if you wish, we're going to do some seated poses. You can fold it into a square and sit on it to raise your hips a little bit. You could also sit on a meditation cushion or a block if you prefer, or feel that you need that if your hips feel very tight. But find a position that you can be comfortable for a few breathing exercises here. So hands at heart center. Inhale, open the heart, open the arms, lift the chin. Exhale, drop the chin, hands come back to heart center. Let's continue with our breath this way. As we inhale, we open the heart center and open the throat. As we exhale, we drop the chin, lengthen the back of the neck, hands to heart center. Keep going in this manner, using the expansiveness of the arms and the opening of the throat on your inhales, and then using your exhales to draw back to center and dropping the chin. Now you may begin to feel a lift in the collarbones and actively begin to create this lift. And you may add an inhale retention at the top of your inhale. So as you retain the breath, you may drop your chin just slightly. And then as you release, exhale, back to center. Next inhale, reach both arms straight up to the ceiling, intertwine your fingers, and then exhale into a side bend. So right arm's down on the floor, left arm reaching overhead, coming back to center and over to the other side. So just creating space between the ribs as we go from one side to the other, moving with our breath, and creating space all the way from the hip up through the armpit and all the way through the arm. Just going back and forth and then coming back to center, really reaching up, lengthening up, look up, open the throat, and exhale, release the hands down. So now we're coming into Baddha Konasana. We did this while we were laying down. Now we're going to do it seated. You can place blocks under your knees if you wish. If that is necessary for your comfort, please do so. You put your hands behind you, and just to support and lift the heart center, open the throat, and then drop the chin. And if you're able, just come forward into a little bit of a forward fold. It doesn't mean you have to go far, just whatever's comfortable. And we're just going to rock between these two positions. Leaning back, opening the heart, lifting the heart, opening the throat, and then exhaling, chin down, and coming forward any amount. And let's do one more. Lifting and opening, exhale, curling into yourself, folding forward. And then coming upright, taking your right leg, bend your knee so that that right foot is pointing out behind you. So your legs are kind of making like a Z or a Z. And then right hand comes across to your knee, left hand out behind you, and really lengthen through the back leg, through that right leg as you're grounding down through that knee, and using that grounding to twist to your left. Come back to center, and let's just switch legs by coming through Baddha Konasana and then releasing the left leg. So that left knee almost comes into the right foot. And then same thing. Your left hand comes to your right knee. Right hand is behind you. Grounding through that left knee, the back knee. Lengthening through that thigh. Come back to center and back to our other side. Just rocking back and forth with the knees from side to side. Just releasing any tension in the hips, in the side body, even in the quadriceps. And now allowing the knees to drop over to your left side. So same thing, we're just going to do this a few times, kind of making that Z shape with our legs. And perhaps you might come to the same position with your left hand on your right knee, or you might take that right hand past your knee to the mat behind you, creating a little bit more of a twist. Depending what's going on in your body, we're still grounding through that right leg, through that right knee. And then unwind back to center. Let's do exactly the same, second side. Again, you might come back to that same position we started with. Ground through that left knee. Left hand to the right knee, or come past that knee, bringing a little more twist into this. This is called deer pose. So keeping long through both side bodies here as you twist. Maybe you're just on your fingertips. Come back to center and back to second side. So again, same options. You come back to hand on your knee, hand past your knee, or maybe even walk it a little bit further as you ground through that knee. And maybe you bend your elbows out to the side and begin to fold a little bit. And again, move with what works for your body. I'm just offering different options for different bodies. You take the one that works for you. Let's go back to that first side. Again, moving through the 3 different options of where your hands are going to be and whether or not you're going to fold forward, almost like you're doing a military push-up. And then let's go ahead and come back through center. Coming back into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, centering. And just sit up nice and tall for a moment. You might hold your feet. And then I'm going to remove the blanket or prop if you're sitting on one. We're going to make that same Z shape or Z shape with our legs. Except this time, rather than twisting to behind us, we're going to fold over that left leg. I've got my left leg in front of me. And you can bring your forehead down to a block or down to the mat as one option. Second option, straighten the back leg and rotate the center of the thigh down to the mat and come into pigeon pose. And same, you can bring your head to a block. You can bring your head to your stacked fists or the back of your hands, or all the way down to your mat. It's the beginning of class, so take whatever position works best for you at this point in the class. So we're getting a little hip opening in here as well as hip flexor opening. Not staying too long. Use your inhale to come back to center. Coming back into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. And then we're simply going to move to second side. So you can start in the Z position with your legs. And again, you might have a block and just stay right here and create enough opening for whatever sensation that you're having in your body right now. Or Extend the back leg straight with the center of the thigh down. You might shift a little bit, top of the foot down, and walk yourself down into sleeping pigeon. Stacking fists, maybe extending your arms, whatever is working for you. I'm just taking some nice deep grounding breaths here as we begin this slow process of warming and opening the body today. And then let's go ahead and come back through center, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together once again. Lifting the heart here. And then making your way onto hands and knees for tabletop and cat-cow. So starting from table, thinking about keeping the chin level as we start, and then opening the throat, lifting the head. And then draw the chin towards the chest first as you move into your cat pose. And then as we're coming back into cow, let your chin be the last thing to come up. So we're leading with the heart rather than leading with the head. Our head tends to lead everything. We're going to get the head out of the way and lead with our heart in our practice. Let the head be the last to come up. And then as we move back, let the chin move towards the chest into Jaladhara Bandha. And press the mat away from you. And let's doing one more round. This time as we exhale, we're moving back to downward facing dog, lifting the knees, lifting the sit bones. And take a few moments to move however feels best in your body. I like to get into my side body by turning my feet from one side to the other and swaying my hips over. And really release tension in the side body and in the ribs. And you might also bend your knees deeply and draw your heart towards your thighs. And then pressing the thighs up and back into your down dog. Inhale, coming forward to plank pose. Pausing here for a moment and then dropping the knees, bringing a curve to the lumbar spine as we lower down, knees, chin, chest, and draw the heart forward. Lengthen the legs back, big toe down on the mat, little toe down on the mat. Lengthening through the legs, we inhale and rise, cobra, creating length through the spine. And then bring your hands up off the mat without lowering down. Use your exhale to come all the way down, forehead touches. Lengthen the legs once again, pubic bone presses down. Lengthen up again, and release your hands out behind you without losing any height. Reaching your fingertips towards the wall behind you. Release hands down, release forehead down. Let's do one more time. Taking an inhale, we rise up. And then without losing height, perhaps you even intertwine your fingers behind your bum this time. Or you can go to the other version of just reaching towards the back wall. Lift a little higher and then use your exhale to release down. Forehead touches, hands release down. Maybe rock your hips from side to side or even windshield washer your shins from side to side by bending the knees. And even letting your forehead roll with the body. Release your hands out to the side and come onto your fingertips with elbows bent. And then extending your right arm and coming onto the fingertips of the left hand out to the side. Bend your left knee and draw that knee along on the floor, on your belly, or you can step that left foot behind you and roll open. So this is a nice opener for the front body and especially the front of that right shoulder here. You can also place that leg in front of you or the knee down in front of you. And if you're not sure what that looks like, you'll get a better view of that on the second side. Come back to center. And then let's go ahead and extend left arm straight out from the shoulder and come onto your right fingertips. And again, bending the right knee with option to step that foot behind you for a little deeper opening. And again, go with what your body is allowing, wanting. You just want a little bit of sensation. You don't want pain. So you'll feel opening across the chest and also especially the front of that left shoulder. Let's come on back to center once again. Pausing with forehead down. And let's go into second side, second time around, or first side, second time around, sorry. And again, taking those options, either just the knee bent with the thigh parallel to the top end of your mat, or stepping the foot behind you. And then last one, extending left arm, bending right knee, bending right elbow, or stepping the foot behind you to roll open a little bit more. Up on the right fingertips, that right elbow is bent, left arm is straight. And let's come back to center once again. And bring your palms together, reaching overhead. So toes reach to the back wall, tips of your fingers reaching to the front wall, forehead resting on your mat. Just creating length through the whole body, the whole spine. And then press up and back into child's pose. Taking a little break here, rocking your hips from side to side. And let's walk both hands over to the left side of our mat. And then walk both hands over to the right side of your mat. Getting into the side body here in a nice gentle way. Coming back to center. And then option to move into rabbit pose by releasing hands to the heels, lifting the hips up and allowing the head to roll from forehead to the top of the head. And then let's go ahead and move into downward facing dog. We're going to have option to move into rabbit pose several times through our practice today. So if you missed that one, you might take it on the next round. So let's step to the top of our mat or walk or float. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, draw the belly in, draw the chin towards the chest, bend the knees, rise up, circle wide, rise high, reach to the sky, look up, and draw hands to heart center. Let's take a moment in mountain pose. Just regrounding, and inhale, reach up to the sky, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, step back into downward facing dog, and then drop your knees. We're coming into gate pose. Extend your right leg straight out to the side, and so you're holding yourself up on your left knee. Reach the left arm up to the sky, and exhale, side bend over to that straight leg side. And let your right hand just slide down the right leg. Come back to center and then release the left hand down to the mat and extend the right arm overhead. Inhale, come back up to center. One more time. Reaching left arm over to the right. And then release that hand down. Now you can keep going in this manner. Or I'm going to give you option to come into side plank here. So bringing that bent knee, the leg straight. You can place the foot either behind or in front of that foot. And then reach the top arm overhead. And it's fine to stay in our first variation of gate pose. If you're in side plank, release your knee back down. Come into our gate pose stance. Draw that knee in. And let's do exactly the same on second side, extending the left leg out to the side. And then inhale, reach right arm up. Left hand is on your left thigh. Side bending over to the left, creating space in the intercostal muscles. Release that right hand down to the floor and reach left arm overhead. And then one more time to each side. Side bending to the straight leg side. And right hand comes down, extending to the other side. Maybe you even float that leg up, or we move into side plank. Extending overhead. And then release that knee back down, right knee's down, back into our gate pose starting position. And now both knees down. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, come down, child's pose, hands to the sacrum. Let's move in and out of that a couple more times. Inhale, lengthen your spine, look up. Exhale, back of the hands to the back of the sacrum, forehead to the mat, child's pose. One more time. Inhale, lengthen, rise up, reach up, lengthen up. And exhale, come on down. Back of the hand to the back of the sacrum. Take a moment in child's pose. And then opportunity for a rabbit pose again. Hands to the heels, lift the hips up, rolling to the top of your head. Option to intertwine your fingers behind your sacrum and reach the fists up to the sky. Other option is keep hands remaining on the heels in your rabbit pose. Go ahead and release down, whichever variation you are in. And then rise up, table, exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Use your exhale to lower knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga all the way down to the mat. Draw your heart forward, cobra. And then bring your hands a little forward and lift up, press into the hands a little bit more, but lengthening the spine, not compressing the lower back. Drawing the hands back towards your hips to keep long. Now bring the hands parallel to your shoulders on your fingertips, elbows bent. Lift up, open the heart. Feel the back muscles strengthening. Exhale, release down. Remember, you're lengthening through the big toes, pubic bone pressing into the mat. Intertwine your fingers above your sacrum. Inhale, rise up. Draw the fists towards the back of the knees. Lengthen through the big toes. Lift a little higher. Create more length. Exhale, release down. Hands under your shoulders. Press up and back. Child's pose. Release any tension in the back. And then find your way to downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here in your down dog. Inhale, right leg floats up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Drop the back knee. Inhale, reach to the sky. Coming into low lunge or Anjali asana. Hands come back down, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Let's move second side. Inhale, left leg floats up. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Drop the back knee. Inhale, reach to the sky. Lengthening up. Remember, tailbones drawing into the body, dropping down to the floor, belly contained. Exhale, hands come down, lift the back knee, and step forward this time, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Chin moves towards the chest. Inhale, heart lifts, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, belly draws in, fold, chin draws in. Bend the knees, circle the arms wide, rise high, look to the sky, hands through heart center. Take a moment's pause in mountain pose. Finding your breath, centering, and then inhale to reach to the sky. Exhale, we fold, belly draws in, chin draws to chest. Inhale, heart leads, step back with the right foot. Coming into our lunge, and then we're rising into crescent moon. So you can start by bending that back knee, draw the tailbone down towards the floor, draw the belly in, reach up to the sky, and then begin to press that back leg a little straighter, any amount, without losing what's going on in the pelvis. and bringing that opening into the hip flexor. And if that means that back knee has to stay bent, that's fine. You might take the option to bend the elbows, hands together behind your head, lifting the heart center a little bit more. Reach up to the sky. And then as we exhale, we're twisting to our left side. So right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches behind, twisting to the left. Keep scissoring the hips. Inhale, reach back up to the sky, back into our crescent moon. And then keep reaching through that right arm. You can release the left hand to your back thigh and side bend over to the left. And also add a little bit of a twist to the left. Inhale, reach back to the sky. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step back. Downward facing dog. Take a little breath here. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Open up into fire hydrant, bending the knee and rolling the hips open, with option to come down to your left forearm as you come to your right fingertips and create a little more spaciousness in the side body. Go ahead and unwind, draw the knee to the nose, coming back into dancing dog. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, draw knee to nose, chin to chest. One more time, inhale, reach it up. And draw it in. Release down into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. And step it up between your hands. So we're back in our crescent moon position. Same side. And again, go through the same actions of dropping the tailbone down, sacrum into the body, belly contained, maybe bending the back knee. Reach to the sky if you haven't already. Again, option to bend the elbows, hands behind your head, and then reach it up, inviting that back bend. Hands through heart center. We're twisting to the left side this time. So you might catch the elbow on the knee with hands at heart center. Or you might open your arms with right fingertips towards the floor, left hand reaches to the sky. Option also for some of you more bendy people that might want to move into a bind. So the left hand to the small of the back, right hand under the thigh. Go ahead and unwind, step back, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here in your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, draw it towards the chin. Inhale, reach it up 2 more times. Draw it in, chin to chest. Last one. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, dancing dog. Thigh to the belly, chin to the chest. Downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Lower down, chaturanga, or knees, chin, chest. Draw it forward into your cobra. Option to press up, upward facing dog, opening the front body. And then exhaling back, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then right leg floats up to the sky. And as we exhale, step it up between your hands. So we're coming into lunge on our second side now. So same motions, draw the belly in, drop the tailbone down, sacrum into the body, bending the back knee as you need to. Reach up to the sky. And then option to bend the elbows, prayer hands to the back of the head, lifting through the elbows, lifting through the heart center. Reaching it up, reaching to the sky. And then we open into our open twist. So the left arm reaches forward, right hand reaches behind us. We're scissoring the hips. So a lot of work through the heart center and a lot of work through the navel center. Reach it back up to the sky. And then release the right hand to the back thigh. Left arm reaches up and over to a side bend. Reach both arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center and down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale into fire hydrant. Again, option to bring right forearm down. Come up onto the tips of the left fingers as we roll open into fire hydrant. Exhale, come back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg floats up once again, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg floats up, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Same side, second time around. Again, set up your crescent pose, positioning your pelvis, and then reach up to the sky. Lengthening up with option to bend the elbows, prayer hands behind your head as you reach through the elbows and lift the heart. Reach through the elbows, lift the heart, and then draw it back through your heart center, twisting over to your right side this time. Hands at heart center. Option to open the arms, left arm to the floor, right arm to the sky on the outside of your knee. An option to bind. Top arm comes to the small of the back, bottom arm comes under the front leg if you are taking that option. Whatever variation of the twist you're in, go ahead and unwind. Step back, downward facing dog. Float that right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, stretch it out. And drop to your knees, everybody coming into child's pose for a couple of breaths. You have an option, excuse me, to move into rabbit pose here or just stay in your child's pose if you wish. Whichever variation feels would do you the most just cause at this point. And take one more breath here and then finding your way slowly back into downward facing dog. Oh, sorry. And option to take a flow coming down to the belly, either through chaturanga or knees, chin, chest. Release the back of your hands to the back of your sacrum and lengthen through the legs. Draw the shoulders back. Inhale, lift up into your cobra. And then reach to the front of the room. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, bend the elbows, drawing them back. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, draw it back. And perhaps you lengthen the legs so much that they float up. Pausing here. Maybe even adding a retention at the top of your inhale. And then on your next exhale, release all the way down. Roll your hips from side to side. And then press up and back. Child's pose. Stay connected to your ujjayi breath even when you're in your resting pose of child's pose. Nice, even ujjayi inhale. And ujjayi exhale. And when you're ready, find your way back into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches to the sky, three-legged dog. Step it up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, the heart lifts. Exhale, chin draws in, belly draws in. Inhale, reach to the sky and down through your heart center. Coming into mountain pose. Take a breath here. Samastitihi, coming back to your center, back to your breath. Grounding through the feet, centering. Let's inhale. reach to the sky as we exhale, sitting down in chair pose and bringing the arms parallel to the floor. So we're going to stay here and just work with the head. So inhaling, we open the throat. Exhaling, we draw the chin towards the chest. Inhaling, we look up, increasing a little bit of the back bend. Exhale, Jaladhara Bandha, chin drops towards chest. One more time like that. And just feeling the difference that just moving the head creates in your chair pose. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Chin draws towards the chest, belly draws in. Inhale, halfway lift, heart lengthens. And exhale, step the right foot back and pivot the foot down, the heel down for warrior one. Rising up, front knees bent. Inhaling, reaching to the sky. Lengthening up, and then exhale, release your arms out to the side with elbows bent, palms facing up. And we're just going to work with some inhale retentions here. So inhale, collarbones lift, gentle pause at the top of your inhale, and exhale, belly draws in. Keep lifting the collarbones for 2 more breaths like this. And keeping the back of the neck long. And then as you exhale, draw hands through heart center, open the legs for warrior two, a little wider stance, and opening that back foot up a little bit. Reaching in opposite directions, not staying long. We use the next inhale to find peaceful warrior. And exhale into side angle, elbow to the knee. We're going to oscillate between these two. Peaceful warrior, reach it up. Side bend, exhale, elbow to the knee, side angle. One more oscillation, peaceful warrior, and exhale, side angle. We inhale, we rise up, straighten both legs, feet parallel to the short end of our mat. And then thumbs to your sacrum. Inhale, lift the heart center, invite the back bend. And then as we exhale, we fold forward, wide-legged forward fold. Slide your hands down your legs. Grab your ankles or your big toe, depending what's available to you with your peace fingers. You might even be grabbing your shins. As you inhale, lift halfway, and as you exhale, fold all the way down, release your chin towards your chest. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold all the way down, chin towards the chest. Your next inhale, slide the hands up the thighs. Turn your left toes back to the top of the mat, and hands come down, downward facing dog. Come into either child's pose. You have the option to stay in down dog or option to move through a vinyasa, lowering down knees, chin, chest, or through chaturanga, taking cobra or up dog, and exhaling back to downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. And then inhale. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, we fold chin to chest, belly towards the spine. Press into the floor. Inhale, reach up, rise up, draw to your heart center. So let's go ahead and move into that sequence of standing poses on our second side. So inhaling, reaching to the sky. Exhale, we fold. Belly draws in, chin moves towards the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot steps back. Warrior one, we rise up, front knee bent, reach to the sky. Keep the front ribs contained as we reach up. And then we'll use our exhale to open the arms wide. Palms facing up, elbows slightly bent. And then every inhale, the collarbones lift long through the back of the head, the back of the neck, pausing at the top of your inhale breath. Belly draws in on the exhale. Keep going with your breath. Inhale retention if it is comfortable for you. Taking one last breath. And then reach it up to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. We open for warrior two. Reaching it out, little wider stance. Find your breath, find your ground, find your strength through your legs, and then peaceful warrior on your next inhale, side angle on the exhale. And then oscillating 2 more times. Inhale breath brings us to peaceful warrior. The exhale breath into side angle, elbow to the knee. Inhale, peaceful warrior. And last one, exhale, side angle. And this time we inhale up into our warrior two, straighten the front leg, and turn the feet parallel once again, coming into our wide-legged forward fold. You can intertwine your fingers behind your back if that is accessible, or you can do the first variation that we did with hands to the hips as we open for the back bend, and then the exhale brings us into our forward fold. Allowing the chin to move slightly towards the chest, top of the head towards the mat, pressing down into both feet, a micro bend in the knees. And then use your next inhale breath to rise up. You might release your hands to your hips or come up the way you came down. Release your arms, just take a moment's pause here. Feel the energy moving through the body. Find your breath. Tune into sensation. And then turn your right toes to the top of your mat. Hands come down. Step back, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose. And lower down, either knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. Opening for up dog or cobra. And the exhale takes you back to downward facing dog. Left leg floats up to three-legged dog on an inhale. The exhale, knee towards the nose, thigh to the belly. And then shifting the back foot out to the side, we extend that right leg straight out underneath us and open up into fallen triangle, extending the top arm up and back. And then sliding that foot back, both hands come down, step back, downward facing dog. Let's move into second side. Left leg floats up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee in. And then we pivot onto the back foot, draw that knee towards the opposite elbow, extend the leg, slide that foot out, reach the top arm up, fallen triangle, maybe reaching overhead. So using the support of both legs here. And then slide it back, downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here. And you can come down to child's pose for a moment. We're going to set up for some variations of bow pose. If you have a bolster or a strap, please grab both. I'm going to give you a few variations here. If you don't have a bolster, you can try if you have a big cushion or maybe two longer narrow cushions. Grab those, and then we're going to bring the belly and kind of the front hip points down to your bolster and come into Sphinx pose. So we're on the elbows. Elbows are right under the shoulders and on our forearms. So we're going to bend the left leg Bring the right forearm parallel to the top of your mat and reach the left arm back towards the left leg. So this is like a half bow pose. So start by drawing your heel towards your sit bone. And then you can extend that arm that's down on the floor if you wish. And you can even kick the foot back and lift up if that's accessible to you. Release out of that. And let's do our second side. So bringing the left arm parallel to the top of your mat. Reach your right arm back towards your right foot. Knee is bent. Getting a thigh stretch, or also kicking into that hand, extending the left arm straight out in front of you as you lift up into a half bow pose. Come back into your Sphinx. And now we have the opportunity to come into full bow using our prop. So perhaps bending both knees and grabbing both ankles and lifting up, kicking, and you'll find this lift. You can lift so much higher with this prop underneath and find much more ease to grab your ankles. And then go ahead, release down out of it. So you can do a second round using that prop if that worked really well for you, or move that prop out of the way. Take a moment in child's pose to release through the back. Breathe into the back body. And then we're going to do a second variation. You can use a strap this time around if you cannot easily reach your ankles. Or if you can easily reach your ankles, you can do it without the prop, without any prop. So 3 different variations. With your bolster or cushion again, with a strap, or with no props, depending where your body is at today. And you also have the option to come into Salabhasana. So starting in Salabhasana, and then bending the knees, reaching towards the ankles, keeping the heart lifted. Kick the feet away, lift the knees, maybe the thighs. And let's take 3 breaths here. Pause at the top of your inhale if you're able, and at that pause, lift a little higher. And then at the top of the next inhale, pause, lift a little higher, even if it's a centimeter. And then go ahead and release down. All the way down, forehead down on the mat, rock your hips. Maybe windshield washer the shins. And then come into our arrow pose, reaching prayer hands straight ahead of you and toes reaching behind you. When you're ready, pressing up and back into child's pose. Option to press up into upward facing dog if you wish, or cobra, and go straight back to downward facing dog. So child's pose or down dog, whichever variation you've chosen. And then let's all come into down dog and work with the head again. So staying in down dog, as you inhale, lift the head, look forward. As you exhale, draw the chin towards the chest, look towards the belly button. Let's see if you can do 3 breaths like that. So it's kind of like doing cat-cow. And then go ahead, when you've done those 3 breaths, release down into child's pose. Option for rabbit pose and your child's pose once again. And now we're going to make our way onto your seat. And then moving into a twist. So a little bit similar to the twist we did in the beginning of the class, but rather than creating a Z shape, we're actually resting the shin in the arch. So I'm starting with the left shin on my right arch. So we're twisting towards our right. So that left hand can be on the knee, or you can bring the fingertips under the knee for a little bit more sensation. And we twist towards our right side. So we're twisting through the belly, we're twisting through the spine, and even looking with our eyes. And keeping that twist, we simply turn our head to look over our front shoulder now. And then let the head tip back. So this is very opening through the heart center, through the neck, through the shoulder. And then go ahead and release out of it, both hands to your front knee. Pause and center here. And then let's switch sides. So the feet come out towards the right, knees towards your left. So you can have your hand on either knee, or your palm slips underneath that far knee as you twist towards your left this time. An option to wrap that back arm around the small of your back as well, if you wish. So twisting as far as you can with both the head, the torso, and the eyes towards the left. And when you're at your farthest point, keep everything there and simply turn your head to look over your front shoulder. And then let the head begin to tip back. So we're in a little bit of a back bend as well as a twist here. Let's feel into that openness for another breath. And then we slowly release out of it. Both hands come to both knees. Pause in your center here. Letting the spine unwind. And then we're going to lie down on our back, setting up for bridge pose. And you grab one of your blocks if you have one, because you have the option to take supported bridge if you wish at this point in the class. Or we'll do some other bridge variations. You get to choose how much effort you want to put in today. So take a few moments with your hips ground down, your feet grounded, to just pause and feel all the feels. And then we're going to move in and out of dynamic bridge. So the inhale, we lift the hips, reach overhead. The exhale, we come back to our start. 2 more times like that. Inhaling, we reach overhead. Exhale, we come back down. And last one, just getting warmed up for our bridge, building some energy and some prana. And now this time we come up into our bridge, and you either come into supported bridge by placing the block under your sacrum, the bony part of the back of your pelvis, or you come into regular bridge by intertwining the fingers under your sacrum and pressing the fists and the forearms down into the floor and walking the shoulders underneath, rolling the outer arms underneath towards the mat and lengthening through the thighs towards the knees. And then option to rise up on your toes and lift the chest towards the chin a little bit higher, and really the strength is coming through the front thighs. And then bring the heels down, lift the toes up and really press through the heels, and maybe you can lift a little higher here. Feel that strength of the legs, and then go ahead and release the balls of the feet down and then the whole foot down. Taking one last breath and a slow exhale to come all the way down. Just pause with the hips down, soles of the feet down. Extend your arms straight out from your shoulders. Feel the effects of your bridge pose and the back bends in your heart center. Feel the prana. And then slowly draw your right knee in towards your chest and go ahead and lengthen the left leg straight down on your mat. Coming into Apanasana. Just beginning to wind down the nervous system here. And then straighten that leg up to the sky, reaching through the heel. Bring your hands to the back of that thigh and press the thigh into the hands and resist with the hands, resetting the sacrum and lengthening through the low back. And then ease off and then do it again, pressing thigh into hands and resisting with the hands. And then slowly bend that knee, coming back into Uttanasana. And draw both knees in. And rock from side to side. Release both soles of the feet down to the mat and just feel sensations in the sacrum as the sacrum grounds down. And now let's move to second side. Left knee draws in as you extend, right leg straight down on the mat. Just feel this gentle release and opening as we begin to calm the nervous system. A simple pose that can feel so good at the end of class. And then begin to straighten that leg up to the sky, reach that foot to the ceiling, hands to the back of the thigh, and then press the thigh into the hands and resist. And feel that sensation of the sacrum and the low back resetting itself, the hip joint resetting itself. Ease off, and then do one more round of pressing thigh into hands and resisting with the hands. And then slowly bend that knee, come back into your Uttanasana. Draw both knees in. Again, option to rock from side to side. If that feels good for you, or remain in stillness. Either one is appropriate. And then reach the soles of both feet up to the sky, arms wide, straight out from your shoulders. Feel the sacrum ground down into your mat. And find a softening here. Begin to soften the breath. Feel the hip bones, the leg bones sink into the hip bones. And the sacrum and tailbone ground down onto your mat, into the earth. Now bending the knees, option to place a block between your knees for a little bit more support as we move into a side twist. Allowing both knees to drop over to your right side. Or you can remove the block. And then option to bring that right hand to the top of your thigh or your knee of the top leg. And then another option to open up into a little bit deeper twist, extending the bottom leg out behind you and bringing your hand to the bottom foot. Again, you can just stay with the first variation. You don't need to move through all the different options I give you. Then release, come back to center, rock from side to side as we prepare to move to your second side. So you might still have the block between your knees. You might remove your block and bring your left hand to your top thigh or your top knee. And you might also release that bottom leg out behind you with the knee bent, reaching your right arm to your left foot. Again, you don't have to take that bound twist position. You can stay in the first or second variation. And whatever version of twist you are in, we're releasing back to center. One last hug as you rock from side to side. And then release the soles of the feet down to the mat, knees bent. Feel the feet ground, feel your sacrum ground. Let your arms be away from your side body, palms facing up. And then slowly straighten one leg and then the other, moving into Shavasana. If you needed blankets, bolsters, socks, whatever you need for your Shavasana, go ahead and create that. And then lengthen one leg, lift it up, lengthen the other leg and lift it up. And do the same with your arms, lengthen and gently place them back down. Draw your shoulder blades underneath you. Roll your head from side to side and then come to center. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, release the whole body, surrendering down to the earth. Release the ujjayi breath. Let the breath soften. Let the mind begin to slow, and for a moment, just bring your awareness into all the sensations of your body, to the openness, perhaps the sensation of energy moving through your body, and the sensation of expansive breath. Expansiveness and openness in your heart center. And just allow the inhale breath to pour into you, filling your heart center with prana and energy. And allow your exhale breath to circulate that life force throughout your whole body. As you come into stillness and allow your cup to be filled with each breath. Allow yourself to soak it all up for the next few moments until I guide you out of your Shavasana. Soaking up the essence of your practice, begin to deepen your breathing. And when you're ready, you might bend one knee and then the other and let the knees drop into one another and pause here. You might even choose to stay on your back for our meditation. Or you might choose to roll onto your side into fetal position in preparation to come up to a seat for meditation. You choose what's most appropriate for you. Perhaps sitting on a prop, a block, or leaning against the wall. But take a moment to find your seat or stay on your back. And if you've changed positions, take a moment to settle into this new position and feel into your seat into your ground and reconnect with your breath. And bring your thumb and your index finger to touch. If you're seated, releasing hands to your thighs or your knee. And just spend a couple breaths here, connecting to your breath, to the essence of the inhale and exhale. Just take a moment to settle into this space, this new position of your body. And notice your body breathing. Notice how the navel rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. Feel the breath becoming more smooth and even on the inhale and the exhale. Just watch this breath for the next minute. And as you watch this breath, begin to notice the space your body occupies. Notice the space around your body. And then see if you can feel or sense or imagine that you could draw a circle of protective light around your body. The circle of protective light can be made of fire or moonlight or whatever else you imagine or sense. Just a circle of protective light. And around that circle of protective light are gathering your guides, benevolent beings of the highest light, your ancestors that are well in spirit. And by their mere presence, the space around your circle is being cleansed. Sense this protective force around this circle. And then draw another circle around that circle. This is a circle of healing. Feel as though around this circle you can sense your healing tools. Maybe plants or trees or sounds, your mantras. But know there is a healing presence surrounding this circle of healing. And then around that circle there is one last circle. And this circle is a circle of wisdom. And gathered around that circle are the holders of your lineages, your elders, deities, wise ones. Feel and sense that you are inside these three circles of protection, of healing, and of wisdom. And then sense and feel that all of us, even though we are not in the same room or perhaps practicing this class at different times, but just sense that all of us are sitting in a large circle. Sense and feel all the participants of this class in a large circle. And in the center of the circle is a central flame. And that flame represents transformation and inner wisdom. Now just feel and sense this circle and the flame of wisdom and transformation in the center for one more minute. Now bring your hands very gently together at your heart center. And begin to rub the hands together to create heat, rubbing them faster and faster, creating more warmth. And then place your hands on a part of your body that you feel needs healing, a blessing, an anointment, an honoring of yourself. And as you inhale, draw in the energy from your hands. And as you exhale with an audible sigh, release. And do 2 more breaths like this. And then place your hands over your eyes and inhale and draw this energy into your eyes and into the brain and into the entire nervous system. Then slowly let light filter in. As you slowly bring your eyes open and come back into the room. Namaste. So those of you who are participating in the journaling, the svadhyaya of self-inquiry, stay in this relaxed state, but just find your journal and your pen, and just for a minute, just do free writing before we get to any questions. And just anything doesn't have to be sentences or grammatically correct. Just write whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever you experienced, anything that comes up, let it flow through your hand and through your pen. And just have a minute of just writing anything that comes, even if it doesn't make sense. And just finish up whatever's flowing. If you feel like there's more that wants to come, you can just press pause and continue writing, and then come back when everything has flowed onto your paper. And if you feel like everything is empty of your thoughts and experiences, then come back to your journal. And I want you to find the page from last week where you wrote of an experience that you had that you made the best possible outcome of. And the phrases or the adjectives or the qualities that came forth from you to help facilitate this best possible outcome in a less than desirable situation. So within those phrases and words, whatever it is that you wrote last week, I want you to go back and circle 2 or maybe 3 words that really pop out, that really seem to be predominant in that situation. And then taking those words, and I'll give you my example, without explaining the situation, the things that came forth for me in my particular situation were creativity, leadership, and communication. And so taking those 3 words, I'm going to give you a couple of things that you can play with this a little bit, because those 3 words can be part of your Dharma code or your blueprint for your purpose in life. And take a moment, first of all, to reflect back to previous situations. And they can be less than desirable ones, but you can also look at ones where you felt at your best, where you felt whatever was happening, that you felt really expansive in whatever the situation was or whatever the action was that you were doing. And see if those same qualities, whatever you found in last week's exercise, are present in those other situations. And just a little bit of self-exploration in that way. Because sometimes when we are doing something that is in line with our Dharma, our purpose here, we feel very expansive when we are doing it. And if we are veered off our track and doing something more of what the ego is asking us to do, we can tend to feel very contractive. And that can be our way of knowing if we're on the right path, if we feel expansive and joyful, or if we feel contractive. So take a moment to just explore those areas, to see how those words that you picked fit into these different situations in the past. And then also see how, if those 3 words seem to fit, how you can bring those qualities into other areas of your life, maybe your relationship or your job or your career or your family life, or your how you treat yourself. Just take a moment to explore that, whatever that might be. And then I have one other, since this is our last class on Dharma for now, I have one other, this is a lengthier exercise, and you can do it after another practice and after another meditation if you wish. A yogi who I took a training with recently, Tracy Stanley, who is absolutely wonderful. Every year on her birthday, and she's also studied with Rod Stryker, who's one of my gurus. Every year on her birthday, she writes her own eulogy, which sounds morbid, but she does it every year on her birthday so that she can reflect and see if she is staying in line with her Dharma, and write the eulogy as if you were writing it in third person. So you're somebody else writing about you. And this is a really great way to see if you are doing the things in life that you want to be remembered for when you do go. So even though it sounds morbid, it is an excellent exercise to live every day in your life with purpose. And really that's what the Dharma was all about, exploring our Dharma. And this is a very long process. We've just touched the surface of even thinking about Dharma and how to arrive at what our true Dharma is. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and we will come back to this exploration of Dharma at another point in time and explore it a little more in depth. And there are a few books if you're interested. One of them is called The Four Desires, and that is by Rod Stryker, and I think you can find it at the library. And there's another one, I haven't gotten it yet, by Sahara Rose, and I forget the name of it, but it's about Dharma. And both very, very interesting. And so if you want to explore a little bit more on your own, those are a couple of books that I know of that are kind of fun to go through and have a lot of exercises in them as well. And some of the exercises I've given you are in The Four Desires of Rod Stryker's, but we've just, like I said, just very much skimmed the surface. So next week, it's March, and we're going to explore some preparations for moving into the transitional season of spring. So, namaste.